Hi guys, Ricky here, and today I'm going to teach you how to build a digital PR campaign from scratch. And the reason I'm doing that is because businesses tend to contact us and sometimes they realize they can't afford our services. And I think that even if you're a small business, you should be able to earn links without having to pay for them. Rather than wasting your money on guest posts and things like that, you can use digital PR to build that trust, build the authority, and generate sometimes tens of thousands of new search traffic to your website. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to come up with an idea for a digital PR campaign, how to write a press release, how to find journalists. I'll show you our expensive database that we use, but if you haven't got the budget for that, I'll show you some free ways too, which you can get in touch with journalists, and then we'll pitch that out and hopefully we'll get press. Now I'm going to do this for my own business. We're a digital PR agency, so that does limit us to what we can, share our expertise and knowledge on with the press. It might not be the most interesting business in the world, but sometimes some boring businesses, I wouldn't say we're boring, but the press might not want to talk about what we have to share, but you can still get press if you come up with a few different ideas. So we're going to try that. Hopefully we'll get some links. I'll update this video, or I'll put a comment below maybe if we do get press, and then hopefully you'll see that this process works. So we're going to jump into my screen, but what would be helpful, guys, for me is, if I'm going to make more of these videos, is tell me what you struggle with when you are trying PR, or you're coming up with ideas or writing releases. Put that in the comments below, and hopefully I can make a new video in the future running over those things. So let's jump into it. Let's create a digital PR campaign from scratch where it earns links in top tier publications. Okay, so this is the company that I'm going to run the digital PR campaign for. This is my own company. It's called weare.co.uk. And as I mentioned previously, we are a digital PR agency that gets people in the press. So the types of content that we can really talk about are probably limited, but watching this video, you're going to get some ideas and then how that can apply to you. And I'll show you different types of businesses as well, so we're not just stuck to PR, because obviously that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But the first thing that I do when a client comes on board, maybe it's a client in a new industry, I'm going to look at what's been done in the press before. So for myself, I know my competitors, I know what they've been in the press for. Of course, I look at things like that, but for you, you probably don't know. So let's start with a new window, and we'll go to Google here, and Google. And what we will do is look for different industries and how they've been in the press. So what we can do, let's say you're a sleep, a company that sells beds. So typically bedroom companies, they tend to talk about sleep a lot, because ideally, aesthetics is one thing, but people who buy new bedding probably want a good night's sleep. So what we could look for is, we could go to Google and type in sleep expert. Just put that in and have a look at the news section. And what you can see right now is there's a lot of articles like the best mattresses and stuff like that. These are affiliate type articles, so we're not going to create something like that. But as you can see, avoid restless sleep by dodging these foods before bed, the sleep expert says. So if you're a bedroom company, you can look at something like sleep expert. Let's just say you sell car parts, so you could say mechanic, I guess. I don't know if this is going to show something. Mechanic reveals secret button that will defrost your windows even quicker. Don't confuse it with another feature. Okay, so as you can see, look, you can just go through this list on Google News and you can find people in your industry. What you tend to want to put is some type of expert, so cleaning expert. As you can see, if you own a cleaning business, or once again, this could be tied into beds, or like mattresses, or wherever that could be. If you sell like radiators, look, there's loads of different topics that you could cover. So That's one way of doing it, is just looking what's been done in the press in the past. Another way that I like to do is just simply brainstorm. So let's say, for example, you're a cleaning company. Put your business, your service in the center of this map, and then start writing about things that you should really talk about. So a cleaning company could talk about home acts, cleaning acts, I should say. What else could you talk about? Cleaning, I guess, like rodents and stuff like that. So you could put rats. You know, if you don't keep your house clean, probably there's a bigger chance of rats coming in your home. Rats, rodents, pests. You could just put that down, and then maybe that gives you an idea of, okay, so if we share tips on cleaning, but we want to include rats, and if you look in the news, you'll see that the journalists do cover stuff about rats, rodents, and pests. Then maybe you could combine them, like this 20 pence hack keeps rats out of your home all year long. Now, I've just made that up. Maybe it's not a thing, but what you want to do is write as many things around your core topic as possible while sticking to your core principles. But sometimes you need to come away from that too. So let's get rid of some of these. I'd say, for example, my agency is a digital PR agency. What could we possibly talk about? If we stick in like really close to this, maybe we'd be talking about celebrities, because celebrities use PR. What else could we talk about? Celebrities. Royals, I guess, TV shows. To me, they're not super close to the core subject, but what you tend to see is that people will be talking about these in your industry. So find what people are talking about and see if you can sort of come up with something that's more relevant, something that's better. I know that's very vague, but by doing that, it's going to give you a chance of getting in the news. So right now, it is the 21st of November. Next week is, next Friday, I believe, is Black Friday. So that's, one of the busiest shopping days of the year. And as someone who, a digital PR agency, we could talk about a few things, but my background is in software engineering, and web development in particular as well. So what I could talk about is something to do with Black Friday. So let's put Black Friday. And something that goes along with Black Friday, to do with like computing, websites, stuff like that. That's what I'm thinking of right now. So Black Friday, websites, computing, let's just put that. And what immediately pops out in my brain here is saving money. Because there's still a cost of living crisis in the UK. And if people are waiting for Black Friday to make purchases for Christmas, then there's probably something we can do, share some tips on, maybe checking different websites, or, I don't know, discount codes, maybe something along those lines for saving money on a Black Friday. And I think that could be a winning angle for us. For you guys, you need to come up with these ideas yourselves and just try them. Like, if you send an idea to a journalist, most of the time they don't reply anyway. So even if it's a rubbish idea, it's not as if they're going to turn around and tell you, what the hell is that? That's a stupid idea. Don't ever message me again. Now, you will get journalists like that. When I first started making digital PR campaigns many years ago, I'd have a few replies like that because I'd send content to journalists which maybe wasn't up their street. But if you're quite specific with what you create and it's close to your expertise, and you send it to journalists who talk about those types of articles, then you're probably not going to get that bad feedback anyway. So I'm thinking we should go along with saving money, Black Friday, something along those lines. So let's have a look if there's anything in the press right now, because what we don't want to do is create something that was created like 2 days ago and is already in the press, because chances are then you're not going to get coverage yourself. So let's have a look. Save money, Black Friday. Now, there's always going to be content that comes up. Black shoppers save an average of, if they bargain hunt, okay. See more money in black lights. Okay, what's that? Black Friday. Let's read this one because this could be quite close to the topic I was thinking of. Let's have a quick look. Doesn't really give many tips in fairness, does it? Stack your savings, use price promises, compare before you commit. Okay, so this article is in the press. I don't think it's that good. I think we can make something which is better than that. I've got a few ideas already. I used to be a web developer, so I've got a few ideas we could use. Let's just check Black Friday. Okay, so as you can see, people are talking about Black Friday 2 hours ago, 1 day ago, 23 hours ago. So that tells me that this is a topic which could, get us press coverage, get us good backlinks, and ultimately increase our search traffic. So let's do something on Black Friday and saving money, and let's see where we go with it. So I've got an idea. Go away, even if you pause this video, or write down some ideas and come back here, and then we can do this process together. We can write it up as we go. So I've got an idea. I think I want to do something about saving money on Black Friday. So I've opened Grammarly. I'm not a brilliant writer by any means, but I'm going to show you the process. So let's go with something like, let's say expert. We'll just go with a working title. Warns that shoppers should do these 3 things before Black Friday to save hundreds of pounds. Now, I have no idea what these 3 things are, but we can adjust this headline anyway. So let's pause that. So what you want to do is come up with a title, even if it's a working title, and you can write the article up, and then you can go back, edit the title to what your article is basically about. So how a press release or a pitch, whatever you want to call it, works is that you want to sort of tell the journalist why you're writing about this now, why it's important. Then you want to introduce your expert, because we're doing an expert authority campaign, expert commentary campaign, I should say. And then we want to tell them what the problem is. And then our expert is then going to provide a solution, and that should wrap it up nicely. Now, there's no specific word count that you should look out for. I don't think anyway. In my experience, we've had articles where we've just given a quick quote of like 200 words, anything up to like 900 words then, and we've been in the press with them. So I think aim for about 600-700 words, or look at the publication you're trying to get in, how long are those articles, and try to replicate that. I think that gives you the best chance of success. So I'm thinking with this one, tips for saving money on a Black Friday. So as a web developer, what we used to do at the agency I worked at is we used to call it like pop-ups to try and capture the user, get them to sign up to like a newsletter, or if they were going to exit the screen, we give them like money off. And what else could we use? I remember one time I was buying a service, and I don't know why I looked into the website code, and they had discount vouchers inside the code of the website, because they done it the wrong way, I guess. But by searching for like money off and stuff like that, I was able to find like discount codes which weren't available elsewhere, I guess. So we could let's write them out. Pop-ups. Just discount codes in general, I guess. Discount codes and plugins. So you can get Google plugins which automatically look for discount codes. I know that's a thing, plugins. What was the other one I said? Check for the website. Website. And one thing one of my friends used to do is quite cheeky, but I used to laugh when he used to do it, is he would sign you would go to like customer support on the website. Usually they have like live chat, and you would ask them for a discount, and these companies would actually give them a discount. I've seen them do it in real life as well. But I wouldn't expect it to work on a website, but apparently it does. I've seen it happen. So let's put that in as well. Ask for one. I think that's a good one to sign off on as well. So we'll keep those ideas. So it looks like, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's try 4. These 4 things. Okay. So first of all, you want to introduce why you're writing to them. So we know it's Black Friday, so let's do that. What can we do? Shoppers around the country are gearing up towards the biggest bargain day of the year. But what could we say? But behind massive savings promises, Black Friday could make you spend more than you ever wanted. Well, this is rough. It might be rubbish starting off, but just get something down, and then we can go through and edit it as well. Okay, so shoppers around the country are gearing up towards the biggest bargain day of the year, but behind the massive savings promises, Black Friday could make you spend more than you ever wanted to. I think that's good. And then we want to introduce our expert. So, and according to one expert, what I tend to see with Black Friday is these companies show that there's massive money saving discounts, but they really don't exist. The product, let's say you buy in, I've been looking at saunas recently, so let's say you're buying a sauna. Now there's one company that keeps coming up on my Facebook page, which is showing that there's saunas for sale, for example, at £2,000 off. Now I know that these saunas are not £2,000 off because I've seen them a few weeks back. So what you tend to do is someone might go on that, think, oh my gosh, I'm going to save £2,000, let's buy it now, let's jump into it. But really they're kind of losing money, because if they don't use any of these tips we're going to share, then they could have saved a few extra hundreds of pounds or whatever that may be. So, and according to one expert, what could we say? According to one expert, we've said about spending more. According to one expert, you could fall into the trap of panic buying. When, and according to one is you could fall into a trap of panic buying where you could have saved hundreds if you just took the time. If you just took a few extra minutes of time. That doesn't sound great, but we'll go back and fix that. Computer expert Ricky Davis, that's me, from digital PR agency We Are. Now, can you see the way I've worded this? And the reason why you want to do that, you want to tell not only the journalist, but in the article, you want to say what your company is, because Google will look at the content around the link. So what we're going to do, we couldn't link to this. This would be great to go to our site, but that is now business name. So the press really are not going to link to this. But if we put it close to the link, so if we put this as a link, We Are. Google is then going to look at is the text around this. And if we keep telling Google that we're a digital PR agency or out that close, what that's going to do is that's going to allow us to rank higher for that term as well. So computer expert Ricky Davis from Digital PR Agency We Are says, and whatever I say is, let's have a look, what can I say? We've talked about panic buying, so let's just say people think they're getting a good deal. People think they are getting a good deal because sometimes these companies run a discount or show that items are cheaper than what they have previously been. But in that panic, they are losing out on hundreds of pounds of savings. I think that's good. Okay. So now we've introduced the problem, we've told them why we write the term, we've introduced our expert, and then let's just go back in the pie. Okay, what can we do now? Okay. So let's put a headline in to break it up. So after I put a headline in, what I like to do is give a little bit of information about that headline and then pull the expert back in underneath that so we can give more information. So we know that these companies are giving these discounts out, or they pretend that they are, but there will be discount codes out there. There'll be ways of getting extra money off. So I think the press will like that. So let's go down that angle. So hundreds in seconds. So okay. With the discounts available. The discounts available online. I don't want to repeat it too much. While you may think you are getting a bargain, there are 4 simple steps that you can take to save more money this Black Friday. So we can either now go into Ricky says or give a quote or whatever, but I don't think we need to because we've repeated a few things. So let's put, let's just make a list. So exit pop-ups. Oh, okay. So exit pop-ups. So an exit pop-up, if you don't know, is when you go to leave the screen, something usually pop-up says, hey, look, you can save an extra 5% or you can get free delivery if you buy now. So let's say that. So retailers want to squeeze much out of consumers as possible and when until you make a purchase. So then we go into the until you make a purchase, but by fake leaving their website you could save up to 10%. I've seen offers for 10%, so we'll go with that. Ricky says, what can we say? Not everyone does this, so not every retailer will do this, but it's worth a shot. all you need to do is find the product you want to buy, add it to your basket, and before clicking to check out, move your mouse to the edge of the browser window as if you were going to, leave the website. And if the quote's getting a bit long, you can go into a second paragraph. This will trick your website if you're thinking you aren't going to purchase, and often you will be rewarded with a pop-up on the screen which will give you money off. Let me just check some in a minute. Yeah, so this is still going. Okay. So we've got pop-ups, so let's get rid of that one. Looking for a discount. What do we name this? Exit pop-ups. Okay, so discount codes. Let's just in the panic of Black Friday, some shoppers may add items to the cart which still have discount available to them. We can give an expert quote, but I don't want to put myself in this article too much because I think discount codes are quite obvious. So we just say we'll do this as if the journalist is saying this. So what we want to say is to find discount codes for the product you want to sell. This is quite an obvious tip. Go to Google and search for the brand name plus discount code. If you can't find one, you can't find one. There are what are they called? They're not called plugins. Chrome. What are they called? Chrome plugins? Chrome plugins. Is it called a plugin? Yeah, it's called a plugin actually. Okay. So there are Chrome plugins, Google Chrome plugins that can be installed to help find these discount codes for you. So that's pretty simple. I don't think I need to give expert commentary on that. Right, so the next one, right click to save money. Okay, so this one is probably one they might not have heard of. So what can we do? If you haven't found a discount code, but still want to save money, you're going to have to get a little more technical, says the expert. But if you know how to right click, then you can save yourself a small fortune. Full stop. So let's switch it up. So I want to say Ricky says, go to the checkout on the website, and often they will have a discount code box. Right click your mouse and then press CT or L and F, I think is that. We'll try that again. Can we do that? Yeah, so that's fine. Okay. And look for variations of keywords such as money off, save 10%. Oh, what else could it be? Free shipping. Free shipping. Wait, that was just for all free shipping. What can we say? Sometimes the web developers will leave these codes hidden in their website. Let's do a second one because that's getting a bit big. If you can't find them, try common discount code variations. Reset variations. Try common discount codes in this box. Sometimes you may get lucky if you use shipping. No, we said that, but that works. Said Ricky. Okay. We say this one. What else could be? Okay. Sometimes to save money, all you have to do is ask for stuff. With the use of AI on websites these days, sometimes we've said that as well. Okay, sometimes to save money, all you have to do is ask. With the use of AI on websites these days, open up a support window and chatting to the AI bot can lead you to saving. So we want to keep reinforcing that because obviously people looking to save money. If it was like £2 here, then I don't think the price would cover it. But let's say, for example, I remember there was a bed company that you could chat to the AI and you could negotiate how much you wanted to pay for the bed. So I think, including this is a good way to save money. Like I said, one of my friends does it all the time and it works for him. So sometimes to save money, all you have to do is ask. The use of AI on website these days, open up a support window and chat to the AI bot can lead to seeing. Okay, what can we say? Open up a chat window and ask the company if there are any discount codes available. While you may think this is silly, you would be surprised how often this works and how much money can be saved. Actually, I've done this for one of our software. I spoke to the support and said, look, we're going to cancel. Can you give us a discount? And they did, so it does actually work. How many do we say? 4, is it? Okay. And you notice I'm saying my name, you can say he said, she said, whatever that may be. You don't want to keep you don't want the article to be about you. A few times a quote and your name, that's fine. But, but just don't say Ricky says. I think that's we're 5, 6, 5 words now. We do 1, 2, 3, 4 tips. Okay, so let's round it off now. How can we do that? Let me have a think. Okay, so a nice like exit would be let's think. Could we say he's put under so much pressure this year, Black Friday will give us a chance to say that we've already sort of said people might spend too much money, so we want to try to get that incorporated. As you can see, the ideas and writing the content is probably one of the hardest parts to do. Once you have something which is semi-usable, then from there it's quite easy. But this is the hardest part, because if you get this part wrong, the rest doesn't really matter, because they're not going to cover your story. I think we've got some good angles and um, like a good reason to be writing this. So I think this could do well, but let's see. Okay, so with families put under so much pressure this year, Black Friday gives them a chance to save money, but what can we say? Using these simple tricks could save you more. For some. I think we're still missing something here. But families put under so much pressure this year, Black Friday gives them a chance to save money. How can we say they have a chance to save money? But using these simple tricks could save you more. I think that's quite weak. What can we do? Friday gives them a chance. Could we do something like Black Friday gives shoppers the chance to save money, but sometimes these deals aren't as good as they could be, and using these tricks could help you save more than ever. I think that's a good one. Let's get rid of that. And then we could put one final quote in from us if we wanted to. Let's put, okay, using these tips can save you money on nearly everything that you buy. I think that's a good thing to round off on, using these tips. Saving money on nearly everything that you buy, and they only take you a few seconds to try. Could say like something like, or if you got to lose or something like that, but I think that's okay. Right, let's just get the spelling right on these. Extra ones, the shopper should do these 4 things before Black Friday. Before Black Friday, that isn't right. What could we say? Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this headline into ChatGPT and just ask it to give me like 5 clickbaity headlines. So I'll do that off screen. Okay, so I've put the headline into ChatGPT. You can just look at how to write headlines or wherever you need to do. But what I find is giving us some good ideas. So expert reveals 4 Black Friday hacks that could save you hundreds this week. Hundreds in seconds? Could save you hundreds in seconds. Hundreds in seconds. Maybe. That could work. 4 Black Friday hacks that could save you hundreds in seconds. Okay, so I'll just spell check this now and have a little read through, and then we'll move on to the next step of building a media list. So, okay. In seconds. I don't like this part. According to one expert, you could fall into the trap of panic buying, where you could have saved hundreds if you had just spent a few seconds Okay, just spend a few seconds doing more research. Let's try that. I still think that's quite weak, but okay. Okay, so I just click for this very quickly. Use this code. Sometimes web developers will leave this code in the website. Okay, that's cool. And we want that. Back by fake and leaving their website. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's the release. As you can see, headline: why we writing this article now. Sort of introduction to the expert we're going to use. Then the expert is introduced along with a link to the site with what you do beforehand. So this could be, say, if you're doing a story and you're a bathroom company, you could be like plumbing expert X from bathroom installation company, whatever your name is, says blah 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 blah. So then you go into that. So yeah, I think this is ready. I think it's okay. It's not brilliant, but this is just for a YouTube video. It might not get anything. All you want to do is round off of ends. So as you can see, 619 words. It's okay. We could add some more to it, but I think that's a sweet spot. So the next part, once you've written your press release, is to build a media list about people or journalists who talk about this type of thing. So what we can do is use an expensive database like Roxil. This is one we use, where you can go on here and you can search. Let's do that now. I'll show you. I don't want to open up anything that's going to have like client information in, but okay. So this is the expensive way of doing it. So what we want to look for is journalists who talk about Black Friday. And that's going to give us 1,200 people all around the world. What we want to look at is, because primarily we're in the UK journalists, sorry, and then you can go through each and every one of these. Say, for example, you'd click on there, and then you'd add this person if relevant. Now, what you want to do is make sure they actually do speak about the type of content where you're covering. So this guy, Joseph, he does talk about Black Friday deals, but he's actually talking about products. So to me, he might not be a fit. Like, you can add him if you want to. Better deals, how to find the best prices. Yeah, like this guy, Alex, he might be a good fit. I would say probably not him because he's an affiliate journalist. Okay, so once again, maybe. So that's how you do it with an expensive media database. You don't have to do that. So if you haven't got the budget, I'm going to show you another way. So let's go on to Google. Let's close this down. I'll keep this up because I will add the people we find to this list. So get a new window up. And what you want to do is put in what we're looking for. Save money. Let's say save money, right? Save money. And we want to say site, and let's say so. What you finally want to do is look for journalists who've wrote about this in. I usually do the past 6 months. I built a tool that can do this, but just for you to be able to do it free, just put on the last year, because what tends to happen in journalism is journalists move around. They sometimes get laid off. There's been a lot of layoffs recently, and these people might not exist. So as in, they might not work for the companies anymore. So if you email them, that email bounces, and then that affects your email deliverability. So you don't want to do that. So open up some of these articles, and you will usually see the journalist here. Here we can see Sun Reporter, so this isn't any good to us. Emily Me. So that's a journalist, or she's a journalist, I should say. And usually they have email addresses here. If they don't, click on their social media profiles, and usually they'll have them in their bios there. So let's have a look. Lana. Look, there you go. Email address down here. Maybe the last one had the email address I didn't quite check. So what you want to do is put this into like a Google Sheet, or anywhere you can keep this. So we want to email them. So I have two columns: first name and email address. So first name would be Lana, second would be the email address, and then you can go through this and find those people who are talking about the things that you talk about. So let's close this down. Okay, so I've split my screen here, and the easiest way, in my opinion, of doing this is having 2 or 3 screens, but I'm unable to record while doing that, so I've just shown you this way. So first of all, what we want to do is open up all these articles or the site you want to get featured in, and start going through them, adding the journalists to a list. So we'll do that now. I won't show you the entire process because it can take hours, and that's a bit boring. But I'll put some in so you can see, and then we can move on. So what we want to do is put this person, or click on them and get them manually. So for example, with this one, Lana Clement, as you can see, you'd go here and you'd add her to the list. So that's one added to the list. Or you can just do it manually, that's totally fine too. Emily Me, which I've just found, so she's fine as well to add to the list. Harriet Cook. So like I said, this is through the database. You probably won't have access to this, but so you can see Harriet's there. Just do it that way, click on them. Like this one's a freelancer, so without this database you wouldn't be able to get her, but that's fine. Just move on to the next one. Bruno Brown, for example. And you can go on his social media and you can find his email address on there. So just go through there, do this. Okay, she might work at the Sun, she might not anymore, but there you go. And what you can do if you can't find them is find the standard naming convention. So it'd be first name dot last name at the publication usually. So just find someone whose email address is there, and then you can probably work out how to email that person. So as you can see, I'm not going to give their emails away because I think that breaks GDPR. But if you find a naming convention, then you can probably email them anyway. So I'm not giving anything away. I don't want to get in trouble, don't want to get them in trouble or myself, but that's how you would do it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll pause this video, and I'm going to come back when I have a list of people who we can email. So let's get rid of some of these. So you can use this. This is what we're looking for. So people giving quotes on, I'm not giving quotes, giving tips on saving money. And then you just put the site, and this was just the Sun, so you could put Daily Mail. I think it's .co.uk, might be .com, let's have a look. So look, it brings up another list. You can put the Metro. Was it .com? Was it the Metro? Let's try the Metro. Should know these, shouldn't it? Where is the Metro? Metro.co.uk. Okay. I don't know why it's not finding now, but let's try again. Maybe I've done it misquote. Yeah, I must have mistyped something, so just be careful of that. But as you can see, once again, there's people in here talking about saving money. So I'm going to pause this video and jump back into it when I have a list. So let's do that. Okay, so I've created my list. You should have now too. And now we're going to need to package it all up together so that you can send your story to the journalist. So a tool I like to use is something called instantly.ai. It allows us to schedule our messages out, and that means we can queue up multiple stories a day for certain clients and things like that, across multiple industries and wherever that may be. So I use these. You don't have to. You can send them manually if you want to. A lot of digital PR consultants will say, you need the personal touch. But in our findings, as long as you're sending the story to relevant people, if the story is good enough, you're going to get coverage. So let's go into Instantly. If you want to use Instantly, keep following this guide. So what you need to do is you need to add your journalist. It says add leads. So let's do that now. I've got something up here. Oh, no. Sorry, add leads. We can do it via CSV. So I'm going to drag these leads in. So you don't have to put a campaign name in. What you do need to do is put the journalist's name in, which I've just skipped past because that's probably going to get me in trouble. First name, the journalist's first name. You don't need this. And we can go from there. We don't need this. So there's 154 people I found for this campaign. You're a journalist, send into like other PR agencies, send it to like thousands and stuff like that. You don't have to do that. I think you should just find the people who are going to write about your stories. Otherwise, you risk blacklisting your emails, and it's going to piss people off if you're not sending it to relevant people. So what you want to do is then put your story in here. So let's do that right now. We have a template that we can use, but it's basically, hi, and we've got first name because that's the journalist's name. And you can put something like, got a story you may like. And then the story is going to be in here. And then just to send in account name, because obviously we have multiple staff who work for us. So, but this is the account we send from. So let's do that now. Let's put our template in, PR outreach. Okay, so don't let this confuse you. Basically, to improve our deliverability, we use something called syntax, which changes the message slightly, because we do outreach, thousands of times a day, basically. And if we were sending the same message, even this message to 100 odd people, some of those could land in the spam boxes. Even though we're not spamming, we're sending it to people who want to see these kinds of articles. But this is what you should do. So if you're using this tool, this is where you do it. So it could be like, thought this could work for your coverage and a potential angle for you. Just take that out. And then you can just sign off, hope this is useful, because, we do hope it's useful. We don't want to be sending stuff that isn't, because obviously that paints your business in a bad light. So intro, why, just introduction, be polite, hope it's useful, and who you're sending it from. Very basics. You could, just follow that. And also we've got an opt-out, because obviously GDPR, if we send this to the wrong person or something like that, we want to give them an opt-out, or we want them to let us know that, they were the right person to contact, and we can take them off future lists or move them around, for example. So let's put our story in here. So you can put that as your subject line. You can then put that here as well. What I like to do is bold it, and then just copy and paste this in. And what you'll find with this software, it takes all the HTML out, so you have to relink to your website. So let's get that quickly. And put that in here. And then we'll just make this look nice. So let's go here. Don't want to leave any weird spaces. So we'll save that. We'll preview it. Does it look good? So we'll select the person. So, hey Zoe, the user angle could be of interest. And then how to save money Black Friday, the article we wrote. Looks good. So you need to do that. So then you need to go to save. I think we saved it. Then we want to write the schedule. Now you can put any schedule you want. I tend to do it before 9 o'clock in the morning because I think that's the best way if you want same day coverage. You might write an article that the press would be covering that day. So anything before 9 o'clock is great. So let's do that now. So new schedule. You can pick anything. Let's just put, what can we put? Let's just say 7:30, and we can put 9 o'clock. And then because we're in the UK, we want to set that to UK time. And wherever day you want it going out on. Obviously, unless you know the journalists are going to be working Saturday, Sunday, keep it to the weekdays. So we save that. It's now 20 to 4 on a Friday afternoon, so it's not going to be sent today. So that this is going to be sent on Monday. And then what you want to do is select accounts to use from. We've got all our staff in here with multiple accounts. Once again, that's to do with email deliverability. You can add them all in. Two of them not working for some reason, but that's okay. Okay, so then you go to save. You can leave the standard options here. And once again, you don't have to do any of this. You can use your own software that you like, but this is a really good one for us. And you can click on launch. And this will ask you if you want to publish this campaign. And we do. So we're going to do that now. So as you can see, this is campaigns we are currently running. The media list, I think at this time was about 154 journalists. You're not always going to have that many journalists to contact. Sometimes you're going to have a lot more too. So as you can see, I don't want to scroll down because I don't want to give away too much information on some of our clients, on the work we do. But as you can see, if we're doing something like a regional, if we contact in, if we got a story that goes, across the UK, for example, it might be certain areas. So let's say, for example, the worst place to sleep in the UK, and you could have like Sutton Coldfield, Newcastle on Tyne, or wherever that may be. And as you can see, sometimes these lists are very small. So it's like 5 people here, 13 here, 14 here. So just get relevant people who might write about your stories, and that's going to help you get in the press. Then just don't, add people to the list. You think, oh, they might cover it, but they probably won't, because I think if you, create these massive databases, you're just wasting everyone's time, including your own. So I hope that was helpful. If you, have any questions about this process, please leave them in the comments below. And if you do have problems getting links from the media and you do want someone to run your own digital PR campaigns for you, my agency, We Are Dakota UK, can help you do that. We guarantee press coverage because we'll keep working for free until we get at least 5 to 10 stories in the press for you. So any questions, put them below. If not, thank you very much, and please give this video a like if you found it useful.